morning everyone. In the last video we have discussed about the valence bond theory and today we are going to discuss about the crystal field theory. As we have already said that the valence bond theory was capable to explain almost all the things, but that was not capable to explain the exact value of the magnetic property as well as that was not capable to explain the color of the compound. So the next theory came in light and that was the crystal field theory. Before that we need to study about the orientation of the d subshell. So here I have already done the orientation, different orientations of the orbitals of the d subshell. जब आप क्वांटम नंबर पढ़ रहे थे तो क्वांटम नंबर में आपको बताया गया था कि द मैग्नेटिक क्वांटम नंबर सजेस्ट द ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ द ऑर्बिटल्स. तो डी सबसेल के लिए टोटल 5 मैग्नेटिक क्वांटम नंबर्स थे, दैट इज द -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. So these are the quantum numbers suggest these are the 5 orientation. The first one, that is the dx square minus y square, that means the orbitals or the loops on the axis. Second one, the dz square, one is on the axis and next one is on the 40 degree from the axis. The next one dxy, dyz and dxz. The first two are called the axial. They are also called T2g, Mulliken constant, and the next three are called the equatorial. They are also called Eg, again a Mulliken constant. So on the basis of these two, the d orbitals are divided into two parts, that is the Eg and T2g, the equatorial and the axial one, and this is the reason for the crystal field theory. Now we are going to see that how the crystal field theory works. Actually, crystal field theory works on the basis of the splitting of the orbital. What happens when the ligand approaches to the system? This is the d orbital in the ground state and this one is in the excited state. So after the approach of the ligands, these are the d orbital breaks in the two parts. Here I am showing Eg on the top and T2g on the bottom. This is called splitting, यानी कि d ऑर्बिटल दो पार्ट में स्प्लिट अप हो गए, टूट के बिखर गए, and the energy difference in between these two is called the energy of splitting. That means del naught is here splitting energy or energy of splitting. This one is T2g, this one is Eg. If such type of splitting takes place, this type of splitting is called the octahedral splitting. Generally it takes place when the number of ligands is 5 or more. In that case the octahedral splitting takes place. But if the number of ligands is not this much, that means the number of ligand is less than 5, then in that condition the octahedral splitting doesn't take place. In that case the splitting takes place is called the tetrahedral split. The only difference is this, and this time it is called tetrahedral splitting. So it is the splitting which is responsible for the different properties. Now the nature of the ligands. You can see in your book the spectrochemical series. We say that there are two type of ligands according to crystal field theory. There are two type of ligands and these of the ligands are called the strong field ligand and the weak field ligand. What are the strong field ligand and what are the weak field ligand? When you will try to study, we will find that the strong field ligands are those of the ligands for which the splitting energy is greater than energy of pairing. And if the splitting energy is less than energy of pairing, in that case it will be called the weak field ligand. You can call it that this one, that is the strong field ligand, is almost identical with that of the low spin ligand and next one is the high spin ligand. How will you identify that which one is the weak field ligand and which one is the strong field ligand? when you will see the spectrochemical series, you will find from the first one, that is the iodide, to water. This is called the weak filled ligand. And after water till carbon monoxide, it is the strong filled ligand. And in this way, you can find the nature of the compound. So we are just trying to nature of the compound by taking the same example whatever we have taken in the case of the valence bond theory VBT. This time we are going to discuss the same compound with the help of the crystal field theory. So here we are seeing the example of the potassium ferrocyanate, that is the K4FeCN6. The central atom is iron, having atomic number 26, electronic configuration after electronic configuration of iron 3d6 4s2. As iron is at +2 oxidation state, the 2 electron will be lost from the valence shell, that is the 4s. After losing the electron, it will be 3d6 4s0 4p0. Now we are showing the splitting. As the number of ligand is 6, K4FeCN6, so the splitting will be octahedral. The Eg will be on top and T2G on the bottom. Now we are showing the same electrons here because the same subcell we are taking. Then this is the 3d6 in the ground state. Now it will excite, and after excitation there will be no change in the electronic configuration will be there. So this is the d6. Now the electron will move. As this one is the energy level diagram, surely the electron will move in the lower energy level, that means somewhere here. The first electron, second and third. Where will be the fourth one? Either that will pair up here or that will split up here. For that we will see the nature of the cyanide ion, whether it is a strong field ligand or the weak field ligand. When you will see the spectrochemical series, you will find that it is a strong field ligand coming just before the carbon monoxide, which is the strongest among the series. So there will be condition that del naught is greater than energy of pair. So see, the energy needed for the splitting is greater than the energy needed for pairing of the electrons. तो कौन सा काम होगा? वही काम होता है जिसके लिए लोअर एनर्जी डिमांड होती है, और यहाँ पे पेयर अप होने के लिए कम एनर्जी डिमांड है, सो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विल पेयर अप. अगर स्प्लिटिंग एनर्जी कम होती है तो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स स्प्लिट अप कर जाते हैं, ऊपर चले जाते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ पे क्योंकि पेयरिंग एनर्जी कम है तो यहाँ पे पेयर अप होंगे एंड द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विल फिल इन दिस वे, 4th, 5th and 6th. Only 6 electrons was there, so all the 6 electrons are here, and all the 6 electrons are in this case are paired. So I am showing the 3d, 4s and 4p. The electrons are in the T2G. There is no electron in the Eg. Now you will see how many ligands are there. There are 6 ligands, that is suggesting that 6 vacant orbitals are needed for the bond formation, coordinate bond formation, and we have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we are showing. These are the electrons were already here, and these are the 6 pair comes from the cyanide, the ligand. Now what is the hybridization? You can see 2 D subcell, 1 S and 3 P. So it is the D2SE3 octahedral dimagnetic. So this is the way how to find the property of some of the compound with the help of the crystal field theory. Now we are going to see the last one, that is the synergic effect. What is the synergic effect? Synergic effect is also studied with the name of the metal carbonyl bond. The carbon monoxide show a unique property. The carbon monoxide have 2 covalent bond in between carbon and oxygen and 1 coordinate bond in between the same. So when the metal makes the coordinate bond with the carbon monoxide, there is a sigma bond, but along with that sigma bond, the d orbital of the metal makes a bond with the anti-bonding p orbital of the carbon monoxide. As a result, a partial double bond character develops in between these two species, and this specific effect is called the synergic effect. It's all for today. We will meet in the next video with the next topic. Thank you and have a nice day.